just because snakes are breeding doesn't necessarily mean anything's going to come of it. Snakes will breed, but sometimes they don't produce any babies. So the question remains to be seen with all the breeding we're getting over here. Will there be any eggs? Let's find out. Okay, so when you're breeding animals, obviously we're talking snakes here today, lockups happen. What do I mean by that? Locking up is essentially a colloquial term for they are breeding, they are copulating, their tails are locked up, they are doing the deed, knocking boots, what have you. Snakes don't wear boots. Don't hold that against me. I know this. But just because they breed doesn't necessarily mean that eggs will come of it. And we've seen that with my Apodora last season. Plenty of breeding, plenty of great encouraging signs, no eggs. Now that's normal for those guys and those tougher to breed species. But with carpet pythons, a little more straightforward. We've got plenty of breeding going on here, and we're starting to get some prelay sheds. What's a prelay shed? Well, if you're paying attention to your animals, you're getting breeding and you're cycling them at the right time, and you're watching their behavior, after they ovulate, they will have a shed cycle, and that's what we call a post-ovulatory or a prelay shed. And that means from that point on, you've got about 3-4 weeks until you see eggs from carpet pythons in particular. That's kind of going to be what we're talking about more specifically, not just snakes in general. So how do you know when they're going to breed, when they're going to shed, all of these different things? This is where record keeping is going to come in handy. I do a lot of the old school pen and note card sort of record keeping to mark down shed dates, whether they've been feeding or not, any copulations, things like that. I will even actively put a piece of tape on their enclosure and write the dates of intros, pairings, check if I observed breeding, things like that. And then that way I can visually kind of stay on timeline with what they're doing and know exactly where a female is at in her cycle if she's going to breed. Now, what I'm going to show you here is probably the first animal to give us eggs this season, or she will be, and this is an albino Darwin. Now, she's about a week and a half post-ovulatory shed, and that means we are anywhere from 11 to 18 days or so, give or take, before we see eggs. I left her shed in there. I haven't cleaned her enclosure very much, just kind of leaving her scent as is so she feels as comfortable as possible. But she is a very restless animal and tends to cruise around the enclosure quite a bit. And so I thought this season I would maybe try a little something different, flip a hide over and fill it with some substrate, something soft and fluffy, and see if she is essentially looking for a nest box. See if that cruising behavior translates into her looking for a more suitable area. And as you can see, she is settled in, she's quite comfortable, and she is hanging out in this upturned hide with some little shavings in there, and she's nice and cozy. For now, we'll see if she moves it around. She's got the whole world in there to do with what she pleases. So if she wants to move it, if she wants to spill it around, that's fine. That's all her. Whatever makes her comfortable. I'm just trying to be here and give her what I think or interpret she needs. The next carpet python that is expected to drop a her clutch of eggs is this beautiful head-axanthic Papuan carpet here, produced by Eric Burke of EB Morelia. This animal has bred for me twice prior to the same male, who is also a head-axanthic, and we're shooting for third time's a charm with this animal, hoping that we get a nice healthy clutch and can finally hit on a visual axanthic Papuan carpet. But I'm not holding my breath. Ultimately, what I would like is mom to come out of this healthy and get just any healthy babies regardless. That's ultimately the goal. Anything on top of that is bonus and extra, and I will take whatever I can get. I love reproducing these animals, and it's always fun getting beautiful, happy, healthy babies, even if they are terrified of the big monkey pulling them out of their enclosure and kind of scaring them out of their wits a little bit. But when they're little baby snakes, everything is terrifying, and that's pretty standard. So, but anyway, enough about the babies. This mother has chilled out quite a bit since I first acquired her, she used to be a very unfriendly individual, and since becoming a mom, she's mellowed out a few times over. So she's a good snake, but hopefully after this we'll switch up some of the pairings and try something else. But she's usually good for at least a dozen eggs, and we'll see what we get. She's nice and dark, and the babies come out with a lot of contrast, and I will not be complaining about more poplin carpets, that is for sure. While sticking with poplin carpets, the third anticipated clutch for the season might be my most highly anticipated clutch. This female is very, very important to me. She's an F1 produced from some founder animals that I got from Dan Malaria of DM Exotics. These were farm hatched animals that were imported as babies that I raised up, produced Redman and this clutch. And this is a sibling to Redman, and of course that means I bred Redman back to her. If you know anything about some of this line breeding stuff, you know that some of the crazy stuff can happen or start to show itself in the second generation F2 when you start breeding related animals back to one another, start seeing what homozygosity of any genetics could come through. And that could just be simple like coloration and pattern. I'm not talking about discovering new morphs or anything like that. I'm just talking about furthering a look and accentuating it. So very excited about this clutch. Redman is a wonderful breeder of mine who makes phenomenal babies, and to have more poplin carpets, like I said before, is a blessing, but to have them from Redman paired to his sister is going to be pretty exciting for me. I'm very curious to see what hatches out, how those babies look, the colors, all of the above. Very exciting for me. So this female should be, I would guess, the third clutch. She's probably good for a dozen eggs or so. We'll say a dozen. Hope for anywhere in there, as long as she's healthy and the babies are healthy. That's a win. So she's a phenomenal animal. She started very orange and embery, and during her winter breeding cycle has gotten really, really dark. And I actually really like the look. It's pretty cool to see them change. So this animal is very special to me. Very excited for these offspring in the future. And I know a lot of people have been anticipating more Redman offspring. So this could be some cool stuff. Okay, the real inspiration for today's video: will there be eggs? Not only are we talking about some successful breedings and the potential for breedings to just not produce anything, there's something else that can occur that might leave you wondering whether or not you're getting eggs. And that could be if you're breeding a female that only has one functioning oviduct. So this female I'm showing you right now is a beautiful animal I call New Girl. She's produced one time for me, and that time she got egg bound after pushing out about 5 eggs. 4 of those 5 eggs made it, and they produced some of the most orange, amazing, phenomenal looking poplin carpets I've ever seen. They're all pretty evil and pretty mean, but they're beautiful, so they got that going for them. But she got egg bound, and about a dozen eggs got stuck. And I was eventually able to palpate the one that was sort of causing the blockage, and the rest came out, and she ended up doing just fine. But I'm not sure the extent of the damage potential in that one oviduct. See, what happens when snakes reproduce, we'll back up. When snakes reproduce, they have 2 oviducts, and in a successful reproduction, both oviducts will be fertilized with eggs and produce eggs that come out of those oviducts, and everything should go well. A snake can produce with one oviduct if one should be damaged, and in this case, I don't know if one is or isn't damaged. What I do know is that I gave this female about 2 years off, let her rest, let her chill, let her relax, let her recover from the trauma of that, because she did not like me after that. She did not like me being hands-on with her. Of course, she definitely remembered that experience. Believe it or not, snakes can remember these things. They are very experience-based animals, in my opinion. If you break trust, if you hurt them, if you do things like that, they'll remember that. Not quite as intense as like a monitor lizard per se, but these animals are smart enough to associate you with certain experiences. So this girl needed some time to recuperate, put some weight on, relax, rebuild a relationship with me as her caregiver, and inevitably she got back up to health and was looking really good, and I decided to breed her this year just to see what happens. because that first time we got some amazing babies. I would love to get somewhat of a repeat of that, get some amazing animals, but I'm really curious. Will there be eggs? Will she produce with one or both oviducts? How are they going to look? Are we going to encounter some more egg binding? I don't know. Why does egg binding happen? There's all sorts of theories about it, from health to hydration to activity levels, musculature, obesity, size, maturity, all sorts of variables. And we could speculate on and on and on about this. There could even be genetic abnormalities in the animal that you have no control over. So in theory, my head is saying she's recovered, she's put weight back on, she's had time to rebound. Let's see if she can reproduce a healthy clutch. If she produces a healthy clutch and all goes well, then that's a win in this sort of approach. If not, then I'll retire her and she'll be a pet only. So we'll get there when we get there. But for now, I'm really looking forward to this. She just gave me the pre-ovulatory shed this morning, so I've been very excited to see this. So I'm very excited and anticipatory of this potential clutch. So we will find out together. Will there be eggs? Hopefully about 3 to 4 weeks. So if that pair goes, that'd be really awesome. She was paired to Redman, I believe. Let me double check that. Correct. That might actually be my second most anticipated pairing of the year. 2 Redman clutches. If that ends up yielding a full clutch of nice, perfect, healthy eggs and mom comes out of it healthy, and we get the F1 female sibling of him to produce 2 Redman clutches, I don't know if that could be much better than that. That's going to be really cool. So those might be my 2 most anticipated pairings. So I'm very excited to see what comes of that. If we get eggs from both of them, hopefully, regardless of what happens, both females come out healthy and got something to show for it. So that would be really cool. But before I leave you, I want to show you this. We've given you all the updates, of course. This fellow over here, shed out. Shed is over there, but their tails are just under her coil there, and they are actively breeding and locked up. You just barely see their tail tips there. In my experience, the way they're all twisted and crossed up, that's a very confident lock right there, in my opinion. Really excited for another chance at producing some Brettles. Hopefully not so male heavy. Some pure Lazic line. Morelia Bradley. Alright, so Eris here is going to help me close out this show. This is a beautiful jungle carpet python of mine. Potentially one of my favorite animals. People oftentimes ask me if I have a favorite. It's impossible to pick one, but she just might be that one. Depends on the day. But anyway, she's not breeding for me this year. She got a little touch of the sniffles early on, and I put the kibosh on her breeding just to make sure she was healthy, and she's right as rain. We'll try again next year. It's all good. The health of your animals is more important than making more of them. So with that, Eris and I are going to get on out of here. Go give my sponsors some love. Reptile Husbandry Designs. Go use code RR10 at checkout to get you 10% off some of the amazing 3D printed snake enrichment and husbandry products that Chris offers over there. It's an amazing company doing good stuff. You know I love all that cool perching and awesomeness, so check it out. Go get you some awesome products from them. Save you some money with that discount code. If you're doing any shipping this year, ship with Reptiles Express. They are the best. You can get all the supplies you need there, labels and everything. And if you would like to save some money, use code Riley50 to get you 50% off up to 10 shipping labels per customer. That'll save you a lot of money off that FedEx rate. Those rates have gone up. So with that money you'll save, oh boy, with that money you'll save, you can then go get a membership to USARK. become a member of USARC and USARC Florida. Membership is super important. They're the only lobbying body of folks working to keep unjust and undue reptile legislation off the books. So the least we can do is support them in that endeavor. And speaking of support, if you like what we got going on over here, want to get access to babies early, discounts on merch, all the inside scoop before it happens, part of the Discord family, all that good stuff, look me up on Patreon, just Riley Jimison on patreon.com. Enjoying the fun. And with that, I'm going to go wrangle this girl a little bit. And I will see you on the next one. Will there be eggs? Maybe not in the next video, but soon. Very soon. The eggs are coming.